Hey everybody, Chris with Night of Living Card Games, back again for day 2 of my solo run through Feast of Hemlock Vale with Hank Samson. So day 1, did the prologue, explored the town, then went to the caves to try to find Theo's missing sister, found her, but ended up running away from a giant crab. Then in the second night, we had to go find the research assistant and save him, which we managed to do. So it is now day 2 of our time in the Vale. First things first, I had 6 experience points. So I did go ahead and buy a few things. The first thing I did was I exchanged one of my mysterious ravens for Miss Doyle. So Miss Doyle is an unique ally, and she's a cat, obviously. Basically, you bring her in, and then you randomly get one of 3 other cats in. Hope, Augur, or Zeal. Now, the one that I'm hoping I get is Augur, because I get, for an action, I can investigate at a base 5 skill. So that would be really useful given my abilities, but we'll see where things lie there. The other thing I did is I swapped out my Idol of Xanatos for Bangle of Jinxes. So I get +2 skill value for tests, and then every time I get attacked by an enemy, I get to put a charge on there. So again, that'll help with some of the tests and everything of just getting a +2 when I need it. The other thing I did, and this is in preparation of future scenario, is I upgraded my makeshift trap a little bit. So I gave it the net ability, so that means non-elite enemies at attached location cannot move or make attacks of opportunity. So I want to, since I played this campaign once before, I do know we got a big scenario coming in where it's a little bit of a defense situation, so I figure being able to have some makeshift traps around to be able to throw out and try to hold down the enemies would be a good thing. All right, looking at the campaign log. So dawn of the second day. We wake up feeling utterly drained. A light rain falls as you walk outside, but even the rain doesn't seem to dampen the Vale spirit. A ring of children in animal masks sing a little lilting melody as they continue decorating. So the fatigue from the long night catches up to you. What it says is draw 2 non-symbol tokens from the chaos bag and then replace them with a token of 1 lower. So if I draw a 0, I replace it with a -1. If I draw a -2, I replace it with -3, etc. So let's see, what do I draw here? -2. So I'm going to be getting a -3 for that. Let's see what the next one is. -4. Oh. All right. Well, that's -5 and a -3 going in the bad instead. That was very unfortunate. Let's see here. Because I didn't finish my meal from the previous day, I suffer 1 physical trauma. That's always fun, because I'm hungry. All right, so I've got all the locations out. Doom on the agenda equal to the number of investigators, so just 1. I started the boarding house. The only difference from day 1 is we now got Judith Park up here at the crossroads. So otherwise, it is pretty much the same. So we're going to wander around, try to talk with some residents, and increase some of the relationships and go from there. So let's draw our opening hand. 5. Oh, Miss Doyle. Brilliant. Fine clothes, rise to the occasion, look what I found, and a well-dressed. I'm going to keep Miss Doyle. And then, let's just draw 4 more. Glimmer of Hope, Gravedigger Shovel, rise to the occasion, and a Resourceful. All right. And just as a reminder, in the prologues, weaknesses just get discarded, and I can't take damage or horror, and also there's no encounter deck. So, all right. So first action, I'm going to spend 3 to get Miss Doyle out. So Miss Doyle says, after she enters play, search your bonded cards for Hope, Zeal, and Augur. Randomly choose one to put into play and shuffle the other 2 into your deck. All right, so here are my 3. So let's do them randomly, shuffle them up. All right, who do we got? We got Augur. Perfect. So that is the Investigate. So Augur is bonded. So while I have to discard all but 1 asset, my understanding is because this card is bonded to Miss Doyle, it will not leave play. So I can exhaust Augur to Investigate with a base of 5, or I can discard her to automatically get a clue. And then I would put one of the other cats, if they were in the discard pile, I get to take one of those and randomly take one of those and put them into play. So, all right. So honestly, Ms. Doyle does nothing other than she is a bit of a soak for me, 2 and 2. Augur's the thing I care about. All right. So now I am going to, since I'm at the boarding house, I'm going to take an action to ask around about the Vale. That is entry 9. Let's see. Miss Olmsted is more than happy to answer your questions and reminds us that there's a dance this evening and everyone will be there. Your mouth waters at the scent of food, but you also catch the acrid undercurrent. So we can choose one of these options. And then the boarding house, investigators at the boarding house may spend any number of actions as a group to choose that many additional options. And you can trigger this codex again. So Leia was supposed to prepare the feast at the crossroads. If she's there, I know she'd appreciate it. You can immediately move to the crossroads. Okay. Simeon's probably hiding in the field. Search for Simeon. Put him at the old mill. And Gideon is at the commons as likely. Put Gideon in play and at the commons area. Okay. All right. Well, it really doesn't matter. I'm moving up to the crossroads anyway, so whether I use the action here or I just move, I'm done. All right, so that is my 3 actions. I put down Miss Doyle, I asked around, and then I moved. So upkeep phase, we draw 1 card, winging it. We're up to 3 resources. All right, and now, no encounter cards, but we do add a doom, so we're at 2 of 6. All right, so first action, I am going to do the Judith Park action. Spend X resources where X is the current day. So I spend 2 resources, taking me down to 1. And then I get to parlay with her. Judith leans against the side of an Atwood house, polishing her rifle as she observes passerbys. These sweet little lambs don't even know... the sweet little lambs don't even know what I have to go through to keep them safe. And hopefully they will never will, Jomo. You realize she is addressing her rifle and not you. She stops suddenly, as if aware of your presence, and locks eyes with you. Draw 1 card. You may play a weapon card from your hand, ignoring its cost. Well, that's my weakness, so I just discard it. Let's see, do I have a weapon card in my hand? Yeah. Well, I'll just play the Gravedigger Shovel for free. I think. You know what? No. Because I'm going to hold on to that card when I move into the original, past the prologue into day 2. So that way, I have a resourceful in my hand. I could potentially get it back, but I'd rather not take this chance. All right. So that was first action. Second action, I'm going to ask the locals about the Vale. Leia shouts to a cadre of workers to cover the effigy with tarps as rain falls. Dozens of small mirrors ring like chimes as the festal decorations are sheltered from the rain. In a large white tent, Leia looks up as you approach. Ah, perfect timing. Take these over to Tad's as soon as possible. Much obliged. She nods to a box heaped with worn farming tools. Draw one card and remember that you are running an errand. Okay, so I draw another Gravedigger shovel. All right, so I have to figure out where Tad is, huh? Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, probably Tad's general store. Okay, so first action was talk to Judith. Second action was to talk to the locals. I'm going to do the free action to get a free, or the fast action to get the free move over here. And then third action, I'm going to do the Tad General Store. I'm going to spend an action to parlay and haggle for goods. So if you are running an errand, which I am, you drop the box of farming tools and implements on the counter with a dull thud. The proprietor smiles as he stows them. Leia will appreciate this lot. Ready for the big feast tomorrow? He chews on a strip of leathery jerky and spits into a bottle. Increase Leia Atwood's relationship level, and I gain a bonus experience. Nice. All right, so 1, 2, free, 3. Okay, so I am done. Enemies, no enemies. Upkeep, draw a card. Into a Sparrow Mask. And now we gain a resource. We now get a Doom. We are at 3 of 6, no encounter cards. So I am going to first action move here. Free action move down here. Second action, I am going to investigate using Augur. So I am a 5 versus a 2. Skull. Skull is minus X, where X is the current date number. So minus 2. So 3 versus 2, I succeed. I get the clue. And then I get to read my entry. Let's see. The old mill is eerily silent as you poke around the overgrowth. As thunder rumbles overhead, a long-legged grasshopper flits through the air. You note that the insect has misshapen black wings. That's not ominous. Draw 3 cards. Okay. A Glimmer of Hope. Hope. And a Makeshift Trap. All right, so first action was to move, then a fast action to move again. Second action was to investigate. So I have a third action to do. I guess I'll just move up here to the Atwood house. All right, enemies phase. No enemies. Upkeep. Ready all the cards. Draw a card, which was Inquiring Mind. Gain a resource to put me back at 3. Now, how many cards in hand do I have? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I have to discard down to 8. One of the wings. Glimmer of Hope. Glimmer of Hope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, next round. We are at 4 of 6 Doom. Let us check out the Atwood house. So I approach the old homestead. Let's see. You hear William and River arguing. This is all we have left. We can't turn our back on our past. Our legacy, William insists. River cuts in with a scathing look. The Hemlock legacy is dead, and I know several buyers in Harlem who would turn this soggy island into a paradise. I would have a choice here if I had a relationship of 2 or higher with either William or River. I don't, so I get to just sit back and watch them fight it out. Let's see. They lob insults back at each other. William brow furrows when he sees you. River turns and grimaces as well. And you eavesdrop on a very sensitive conversation, so we decrease both the relationship levels on them. Oops. Guess I shouldn't have come over here. All right, I'm trying to think here. Vale Schoolhouse is, I think, where William was. Let's just go up here. So, first action was that. Second action, I'm going to move up here. Third action, at the Hemlock Chapel. I am going to approach the overgrown chapel on the top of the hill. The entrance is choked with parishioners in white gold cloaks. You head around back, and as you open the door, you hear a hushed conversation. A soft voice speaks. "It'll be done as you said, Mother, but I was wondering exactly why you needed us to. It is not your place to question, nor to speak, but to obey." Mother Rachel's stern voice cuts like a knife. "Now you must join our brethren, and I must join the procession. Simply do as I ask." Put Mother Rachel into play at the chapel. Mother Rachel, test will 2. But I did that. Second action move, third action that. So my turn is done. Enemy phase, no enemies. Upkeep, we draw a card. Rise to the occasion. Gain a resource to be at 4 of 4 resources, and now we have to discard a card. I'm going to discard one of the Rise of the Occasions. Right. Upkeep, or Mythos phase, we add a Doom. We're at 5 of 6, so the Witching Hour. And then no encounter cards, so I guess I'm going to try to parlay with Mother Rachel. I have no icons to commit to this. Well, nothing that I want to. I have 1 icon and a Sparrow Mask, but I really don't want to commit that. So I am a 3 versus 3. Actually, I suppose, because if I do that, 1, 2, I can't do a lot. So I'm just going to, first action, I'm going to draw. Inquiring Mind. Second action, I'm going to draw. No help whatsoever. Third action, I'm going to just test even. Just double check, even though I know my hand, I'm going to double check just to make sure I didn't miss an icon. Nope. Oh, my goodness, I made it. +1. All right, so I succeeded, so I get to read entry number 1. Mother Rachel stands at the head of the procession. Her train wave bright, colorful ribbons as they sing a lilting song. The night is long, the woods are dark. The starborn child is clothed in bark. Silent we wait for summer rain, the cleansing wash to end all pain. Procession halts as Mother Rachel breaks from the group to walk to your side. So we get to increase the relationship level and get a bonus experience, and I get to draw 1 card and play a charm or spell asset from the hand, ignoring its cost. Well dressed. I don't think I even have any. The only thing that might be is the Sparrow Mask. Oh, it is. But there's no point to play it because I'll just have to remove it. All right. That is my turn. Draw, that. So enemies, none. Upkeep, draw a card. A fine close. Gain a resource, that puts us back at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We'll throw one of... No, we'll throw well-dressed out. All right. Mythos phase. We are at 6 of 6 Doom. So this pops. Birdie was rescued. Go to R1, which he was. Resolution 1. Dr. Marquez emerges from upstairs with a stony look on her face. Birdie follows, nursing a bandaged arm. I was walking at the edge of the woods, I think at midday, when I felt the most delicious, he struggles to put in a word, an absolute joy. And then I suppose I lost myself. When I came to, it was night and I was quite lost. And now that I've returned, I can't help but reflect on that breathless feeling. A motion recollected in tranquility, eh? Professor rolls her eyes, but doesn't comment. The doctor pours herself a strong cup of coffee. I'm going to take advantage of the cooling rain and head up to Pearl Ridge. Join me if you like. She takes a bite of her eggs and wrinkles her nose. Is that a metal taste? She discreetly spits the eggs into a handkerchief as Miss Olmsted emerges from the kitchen with a stack of flapjacks and several hungry guests. Do not record Victory X value of each card in the victory display. That's fine. Record each bonus experience under unspent. You can't spend it right now. Make preparation for the next survey. Choose one asset in your play area to keep for the next scenario. Miss Doyle and the Bonded Augur. Then discard down to your hand size and shuffle your discard pile into your deck, and then discard down to your starting resources. All right, so the 5 cards I'm going to keep. One of the Gravedigger Shovels. A Resourceful. The Sparrow Mask. I'm actually going to keep Hope just so I can discard her later. And then one more. You know, I'm going to do Fine Clothes. I'm not sure if I'll have parlays in the next mission, but it's also a 1/1 soak. Okay, so next we have to decide where we're going. We either brave the decaying North Point Mine in Written Rock, we investigate the long-abandoned Hemlock House, we explore the eerily quiet Pearl Ridge in the Silent Heath, or survey Eastwick Bog and risk an encounter with the thing in the depths. I am going to explore the eerily quiet Pearl Ridge. All right, so then I go to the Silent Heath. So I will pause here and get everything set up for that scenario, and I will be back shortly. All right, back again and set up everything at the Silent Heath. So we step out of Theo's truck into pouring rain, and we've got Dr. Marquez with us. The locals are to be believed. We want to head this way. She points uphill to a glimmering orchard. After hiking the steep incline, the professor lets out a gasp. Rows of crystalline trees shimmer in the light. A crack of lightning from the southern clouds refracts a band of gorgeous prismatic radiance through the hanging apples and knotted glass trunks. Although beautiful, you can't help but feel an anxious pang. The trees are wondrous, but they are long dead, frozen in time. Dr. Marquez begins chipping away at the young sapling with a hammer and chisel. Fan out and explore the ruins. Leia warned me to keep clear of the ants, whatever that means. Don't kick any ant hills, I guess, she says, already engrossed in her work. You reach the old Pearl estate and stop yourself from walking into the yawning, dark chasm in front of the dilapidated house. A shattered rooftop at the northern end of the estate tells a story of some violent impact. Judging by the scattered boards, something shot out of the interior with the force of a cannonball. As you survey the ruins, you wonder what awful catastrophe befell the Pearl family. A skittering black shadow flits at the edge of your vision. When you turn to look, it has gone. So we've got everything set up, set aside the cards. We're starting up at the Pearl Estate ruins. Dr. Marquez is over at the Crystal Grove. At the moment, we have... Well, no, I guess we can get there. These two are connected. Let's take a look at the act and agenda. So agenda 1A we had to remove because this is day 2. So, Agenda 2A, Desolation version 1. The insects scurry to and fro, alarmed by your presence. Each insect enemy loses aloof. And forced, when doom is placed on this agenda, if the brood queen enemy is set aside, reveal tokens from the chaos bag equal to the number of insect enemies in the victory display. If a token with a symbol is revealed, spawn the set aside brood queen enemy. Well, she is set aside. Haven't looked at her yet, so I haven't played this scenario, so this will be interesting. Alright, looking at our act, The Lost Legacy. The Legacy of Pearl Ridge is a story of note amongst the locals. The Pearls were a prominent family like the Hemlocks and Atwoods, but the family vanished in a curious incident back in 1906. What could have happened here? Objective, when the round ends, investigator at the Pearl Estate ruins may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. Real quick, looking at the Chaos Bag, we've got Skulls. Skull is minus X, where X is half the number of insect enemies in play and in the victory display, rounded up. Cultist is a -1. You may shuffle a non-elite enemy in the victory display into the encounter deck. Tablet is -3. If you fail, choose an insect enemy at your location. It engages and immediately attacks. And Elder Thing is -2. If you're at a lair location, reveal another token. Alright, starting up at the Pearl Estate ruins, the wreck of a once great house stands precariously on the edge of a cliff. The decaying roof looks like an empty patchwork. It is a 3-shroud, 1-clue location with an action. Resign. You leave the hearth behind. Add all crystal remains you control in the to the victory display. All right. Okay, so that is all the setup. So we are going to start playing some stuff. All right, first action. I'm going to spend 1 to get my Sparrow Mask down. Action 2, I'm going to investigate here, and I'm going to pitch hope for a icon. So I am a 5/6 versus a 3. -2, I succeed, so I get the clue. Third action, I'm going to come down here to Crystal Groves. The Crystal Grove says, a once living orchard looks more like delicate glasswork gallery. The apple trees have crystallized and reflect the light in shifting patterns. There's a 2-shroud, 1-clue location. And as an action, we can spend 1 clue as a group to add a crystal remains you control to the victory display. Get the clue out here. And then Dr. Marquez is, after we discover the last clue, we get to read the entry and hopefully grab her, but if not, then not. All right, so that was investigate, or play my mask. Investigate, move. I am done. Enemy phase, no enemies. Upkeep, draw a card, into a rise to the occasion, gain a resource. We were at 5 resources. All right, Doom, 1 of 7. We place Doom here. We reveal chaos tokens from the bag equal to the number of bugs or insects in the victory display, which there are none, so I don't reveal any tokens. Now we get a encounter card, which is, of course, an insect. A Bruised Soldier, a 3/2/3 with Aloof, which they lose Aloof. And Patrol for a cave location with clues. While it's ready, that location gets +2 Shroud. And it has victory 0. So it is going to engage me right away. Okay, so I think we are going to evade it. First action, we're going to evade. We are going to use our Sparrow Mask to get a +2, so we are a 5 versus a 3. up by 2. Autofail. Okay, let's try that again. We will spend another 1 to be up by 2. -3. Fail again. Oof. Alright, I'm going to take an attack of opportunity. So I'm going to take 1 and 1. I'll just put it on myself to get down my Gravedigger shovel. I guess I should. And because that attacked me, I do get a charge back on that. So that is my 3 actions. Attempt to evade, play my shovel. Right, enemy phase. He hits me for 1 and 1. Yeah, we'll just keep putting it on myself. I'm going to hold off on putting anything on Miss Doyle for right now. And there. So now we get upkeep, draw a card, which is another Sparrow Mask, gain a resource, putting me at 4. Alright, so we get Doom. There are no insects still in the victory display, so I don't have to draw any icon or any token. So we get an encounter card, which is Desiccation. Put it next to play. An additional card to play a card, take a damage. And then at the end of the round, it goes away. Oh, and because he did attack me during the enemy phase, I forgot. Get another 1 back. Alright, so I am going to attack. I am a 7 versus a 3, so up by 4. -3, I succeed. Takes a damage. Second action, I will do it again. 7 versus 3. -1, I succeed. It is dead, so we now have 1 insect in the victory display. And sorry, took a quick pause there. One of my lights was a little bright, so it was drowning out the right. So I'm just going to call that my victory display. All right, so action 1, fight. Action 2, fight. Action 3, I'm going to investigate here with Augur. So 5 versus 3, or 5 versus 2, 3 up. -2, I succeed. So I get the clue. And because I discovered the last clue at my location, I get to read an entry about Dr. Marquez. It is still Act 1. Dr. Marquez holds up a round piece of glass to the light. It's a cross-section of a petrified tree, riven with gossamer patterns. The professor pockets the sample. The apple orchard wasn't petrified. The structure of the wood itself changed. This cross-section is a dozen different trees, each with its own history and rings, all crystallized. Draw 3 cards, and we can trigger this codex on a different act. All right, so we got Old Keyring. We have Winging It, and a Meat Cleaver. All right, so fight, fight, investigate. Those are my 3 actions. Enemy phase, no enemies, upkeep, ready the cards, draw a card into a Glimmer of Hope, gain money to be at 5, end of the turn, desiccation goes away. Alright, Mythos phase, we put 1 Doom on, so we are at 3 of 7. We do now have 1 insect in the display, so we draw 1 token. And it is a symbol. Alright, so we spawn the Brood Queen right now. Brood Queen, 1 fight, 5 health, 3 evade. Spawn, we read a thing, and it is massive and alert. An insect enemy at that location, lose Loof, which I already do. Gets +1 fight for each other insect enemy in play, and +3 health, where X is the current day. Oh, plus X health. So I think what that means, if I'm reading that sentence correctly, is it would get +1 fight for each insect enemy in play, but regardless of that, it also gets +2 health because it is day 2. It is. I'm just going to leave it by me. It's technically massive, so it's at that location. But since we're just playing the one, all right. So I gotta read. Entry Sigma. The massive corpulent form of an insect lurches out of a dark tunnel. The brood queen's antennae wave in the dark, emitting unsettling vibration. In moments, the cave is filled with her brood, each of them glowing with a faint blue light. Spawn the brood queen at the location nearest to the most investigator, at a cave nearest. At a cave location, which there isn't one, so it is going to, I don't know, we'll put it over there, and then spawn each insect enemy from the victory display at this location. Okay, now neither of these are hunters. The brood soldier does have patrol, but it's going to a cave location. All right. So technically we don't have to go and do anything with them right now. So that was that. I still have to draw my Mythos card, or my encounter card, which is Downpour. Test Intellect 3. For each point you fail by, you must either lose one action or place one of your clues on your location. Oh, don't like that. All right, we're going to commit Rise to the Occasion, because I am 2 below that. So that puts me at a 4 versus a 3. I'm going to commit a Glimmer of Hope to be a 5 versus a 3. And that's about the best I can do. So 5 versus 3. -1, I succeed. Whew. All right, so I think first action, I'm going to spend 3 to get my meat cleaver down. Second action, I'm going to move up here because I think I need to get to the next act to get caves so I can start dealing with those things. And then third action, I think I will spend 1 to get some fine clothes out, just to have a little extra soak. That is my turn. Enemy phase. There is no cave location, so this guy doesn't hunt. That is not a hunter, or that guy doesn't patrol. So enemies don't do anything. So upkeep, we draw a card into another old key ring, gain a money, so we're at 2. And now we get to the Mythos phase. So Doom puts us at 4 of 7. I don't need to draw tokens because the queen's already out. Well, actually, I take that back. So at the end of the round, when the round ends, investigators at the Pearl Estate Ruins, which is me, may spend the requisite number of clues, 2, to advance. All right. Amongst the ruins, you find Susan Pearl's diary. It details attempts to explore tunnels beneath the ridge. They were called the Warrens due to their maze-like structure. Perhaps some of the Pearl family disappeared into the surrounding tunnels, but why? You resolved to investigate. Put the 3 set-aside random House on the Rock locations, unrevealed. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. So those are our 3 cave locations. Take the remaining set-aside locations. Okay, so there were 3 locations: Salt Chamber, Larval Tunnels, and Crystal Nursery. With the top 3 cards in the encounter deck, 1, 2, 3, shuffle them up. And then randomly deal 1 face-down card beneath each location. All right. That one there. That one over there. Okay. So we're on to Act 2, Searching the Heath. The Warrens are likely the final resting place of the Pearl family. Studying their remains may shed a light on what really happened here. Action. If there are no clues at your location, draw the card beneath that location. Fast action. Investigators at your location may spend one clue as a group to look at the top card beneath your location. You may place that card on the bottom of its stack. Objective. If each undefeated investigator has resigned and there are one or more crystal remains in the victory display, advanced. All right, so there's obviously a mechanic to get more cards underneath these locations. All right, so that was the end of the round. Now, start of the round, we go to 4, and we draw our encounter card, which is Miasmic Shadow, Aloof Hunter. It is not Night. Okay, when you discard one or more cards at that location, if it's ready, it engages you and makes an immediate attack. Okay. All right, so my turn. I am going to take an action. Let's see what's underneath our location. We get Calcification revealed. Put it into play into your threat area. And the first time you move, take a direct damage, and then test evade 3. If you succeed, discard it. Don't like that. So that was first action. Second action. Let us try to do Calcification. I'm going to do a Sparrow Mass charge and pitch Resourceful, so that gives me a 6 versus a 3. X, where X is half the number of insect enemies in play or the victory display. There are half of it rounded up, so that is 2 of them in play. So that's a -1, so I succeed. And for Resourceful, I am going to go get Rise to the Occasion. So action 1, test off Calcification, which I did. Action 2, look under there. Action 3, I'm going to go to this cavern. This cavern is Overgrown Tunnel, 3 Shroud, 1 clue, and while it has clues on it, you must spend 1 additional action to move out of it. All right, that is my turn. Let me take a look real quick for the... Oh, am I supposed to have another cavern? Hang on a second. Nope. Making sure I didn't do anything wrong. 3 set aside location. Oh, okay, so... I think I understand. Okay, so that's my turn. Enemy phase. Because this guy isn't in a dark location, he is not a hunter, so he stays just right there. There are now cave locations with clues, so this thing is going to hunt. We're going to have him hunt down here. That is still not a hunter, so it's going to stay there. All right, upkeep. Draw a card. There's a bangle of jinxes. And gain a resource to put us at 3. Grab a Doom. We are at 5 of 7. And encounter card is... Defend the Nest. Test. Book 2. Increase the difficulty of this test by 1 for each lair location in play. There are no lair locations in play. And then, if you fail, place 1 Doom on the nearest insect enemy. If you cannot, take 2 Horde instead. Ooh, that's going to cost me a turn. I can't use Rise to the Occasion because I'm not 2 I'm not too higher, or the test isn't too higher. Do I pitch both old key rings to this thing to try to be one up? That doesn't seem to be a good use. I think we're just gonna have to accept the fact that we're gonna lose this. So down by 1. -1. I guess I should have done it. Oh well. So we get 1 doom on this guy. Now my turn. I suppose the option could be... Oh no, because it takes me an extra action to get out of there. So it's just... I'm going to pop 1 turn early, so be it. Alright, first action, I'm going to investigate with Augur. I will be 2 up. -1. I succeed. Get the clue. Second action, I'm going to look at the card beneath this. Crystal Nursery. Revelation. Put Crystal Nursery into play adjacent to the location from which it was drawn. And then read entry 5. Place them adjacent to your location. Okay, so adjacent, so I guess it's going to be right there. It is a 3-shroud, 2-clue location. And then response. After you end your turn in Crystal Nursery, take 1 direct horror, then draw the top card of the stack beneath Crystal Nursery. Okay. Let's see. Let's read that entry, though. You enter a massive cavern the size of an amphitheater, filled with milky white crystals. Innumerable insects hang from the walls and bask on the floor, the pale, watery light that filters down from a hole in the ceiling. You realize the opening above is the massive chasm in front of the Pearl Estate. A low subsonic hum permeates the room. You feel as though you have entered a sacred space. Gather one of the set-aside crystal remain cards along with the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. Shuffle them together and place the 3 cards face down in a stack beneath. Okay. So that, and that. Okay. This will be interesting. So I have to end my turn here and then take a direct horror. So at most I have to take 2 direct horror. Let's see, one thing I do want to see is, do I automatically move there? No, it doesn't say that you automatically move there. So I am going to move down with my third action. I'm going to do a fast action here, so I'm going to spend 1 clue to look at the top card of this deck, and then I can place it at the bottom if I want. It is not what I want, so we are going to do this. Alright, so I end my turn here, so I take a direct horror, and I draw the top card of this, which is the Crystal Remains. Revelation. Put it into play in your play area. If it is defeated, shuffle the top 2 cards of the encounter deck and place them face down in a stack beneath the nearest. Oh, so basically, if it ever gets defeated, you just shuffle it in, and that. Forced, when your turn begins, take 1 damage or horror. Oh, that's nice. Okay, well, that's my turn. So now, enemy phase, this guy moves over here. I'm just going to put these here because I don't need them anymore. Now we get to upkeep. So I'm going to draw a card, which is a lucky. Gain a resource, which gets me to 4. And now Doom pops. 1. We are at... Oh, hang on a second. Am I? Oh, yeah. So 5, 6 on there, plus 7 over here. So this pops. A swarm of insect soldiers descend on you, blocking any escape. One of them buries its proboscis in your torso with near mechanical proficiency. You feel pain, then numbness, then nothing as you pass out. You come to hours later, covered in salt in a dry cavern. Head pounding, you stagger out of the warrens into the arid heath. The wound in your side oozes a filmy blue poison, but it doesn't seem to be fatal. Each investigator who has not been eliminated... Really? Hang on a second. Oh, shoot. I screwed up. Hang on. So, there were two Agenda 2As, not two Agenda 1As. I put the wrong one out. So, all right. So, we're still on the first one, which is Unsettling Signs. Nothing has changed from that. We still would have had to have done the Brood Queen thing. So, we have an 8 Doom Threshold. I was about to say, I mean, that seems kind of harsh. So we've got 6 on here. And then 7. So okay. Now, so we're at 7 out of 8. Now we draw an encounter card, which is Chroma Blight. Put it into play in your threat area. After you draw 1 or more cards from your deck, place 1 resource on it as Brilliance. And then if there's 6 on here, go get a Crystal Parasite and put it into play. Okay. So I've basically been infected with a parasite and will slowly succumb to it. All right. So that is my turn. So I'm going to go 1-2. I am getting attacked. Or I'm, I guess one thing that was wrong is this, he did have aloof that first time, so I technically shouldn't have done it, but oh well, I'm not going back to fix it. Okay, well, that's fine. So 1-2. Let's take a look. Third action. Let's take a look at what's underneath here. It is a calcification. All right, I'm going to have to deal with that. So that is my turn. Enemy phase. This guy is aloof, so he is going to avoid me. And he's going to patrol to a cave location with clues, so he's trying to come down here. And now, upkeep. Draw a card. Rise to the occasion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm at 8. Gain of money to be at 5. All right. So now we, and then when your turn begins, I forgot this thing. I take 1 damage or horror. It's not direct. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the damage on, 1 of the damage on Miss Doyle. I think I'll do a couple turns of that. Oh, that's what I should have done. Well, I would have still taken that anyway. That's fine. What I should have done instead of that, I'm going to take an extra thing, but I should have spent the clue over there to do that. Oh, well. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, so now we get a Doom on there. So we got 3, 4, 7, 8. So now we pop here. Okay, so now discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an insect enemy is discarded, and the lead investigator draws that enemy and shuffle the discard pile into the encounter deck. Okay, so nope. Yes. We get a Brood Soldier. 3/2/3. Location gets +2 Shroud. Alright, that is that. So that's engaged with me. Now we get the insect enemies lose aloof, and we've got 7 turns. Alright, now we still have to draw an encounter card, which is Downpour. Test 3. So we'll pitch one of our Rise of the Occasions to this. And, you know, we'll do one of our old key rings too. So we'll be a 5 versus a 3. Whew, 5 versus a 3. We can't do that. For each point you fail by, you must either lose 1 action. Oof. Okay, well, I'm going to spend 1 to be lucky, so that makes me a 2 versus a 3. So I only fail by 1 point, so I either lose 1 action or place 1 clue on my location. I'm going to lose an action. Okay. Start of my turn, I have to take a damage or a horror. I'll put the horror on Miss Doyle. First action, I'm going to attack with this. As an additional cost, I can take a horror, which I'll take on myself. So I am a 5, 6, 7. And there's nothing else I can do there. So 7 versus a 3. -1. I succeed. I deal 2 damage, so it is dead. Victory 0, so it just goes away. And I get to heal a horror. I'm going to heal it off Miss Doyle. Second action, I'm going to spend 1 clue to do this location. Add a crystal remain you control to the victory display. Okay. That is my turn. Oh, I forgot to do this at the end of last turn, because I drew a card from my deck, so that's that. I haven't moved, so I don't need to worry about that. Okay, enemy phase. This guy actually moves down here because he is patrolling to a cave location with clues. And that is it. So now we are doing upkeep. We draw a matchbook. And we gain a money to be at 5. And now we get 1 doom. And an encounter card, which is Downpour again. Well, let's do my other Rise of the Occasion. And then I guess we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go 5 versus 3. I don't have a lucky to save me this time though. Five versus 3. So I lose 1. So I lose 1 action. I don't have any clues to spend, so I lose 1 action. All right. First action. I'm going to do calcification. I'm going to spend a charge off Sparrow Mask and commit another Sparrow Mask. So I am a 6 versus a 3. Minus X, where X is half the number of insects in play and in the victory location. So 1, 2, 3. rounded up, so that's a -2. I was up by 3, so I succeed. That was action 1. Action 2, I'm going to come over to this cavern location, which is an iridescent passage, 3 shroud, 2 clues. After you fail a skill test while investigating, discard 1 card from your hand. Alright, 2 clues. Dr. Rose is over there. Alright, so we go to the enemy phase. This guy is actually going to stay where he's at, because he's at a location where there is clues. So, no enemy movement. Let me just make sure. Massive alert. Yep, this guy just stays where he's at. And now, upkeep. We draw. Oh, where's Paul? Discard cards until an enemy is discarded. Let's take care of that first. Okay, a Brood Soldier. This is going to be a problem. Attach Where's Paw and spawn it at a connecting location. The enemy gains elusive. And at the end of the round, I take a direct horror. Okay, so we're going to put you there. All right, so that was the upkeep. Now we get to the Mythos phase. 1. Encounter card is Desiccation. Okay, so I have to take a damage to play a card. All right. First action, I'm going to discard Gravedigger's Shovel to discover a clue at my location. Second action, I'm going to move down here. Third action, I'm going to fight using my Meat Cleaver, and I am going to take a horror. That's all I've got. So 3 versus 5. 6, 7. 6, 7. So 7 versus 3. Made it. So that is 2 damage. So it dies. And Where's Paw gets discarded. So I don't take direct horror from that. Okay. So that was kind of a waste of a turn, which I think is the big thing there. All right, enemy phase. This guy stays. Not a hunter, not a hunter. Upkeep. We get a winging it. And we are up to 6 resources. We are at 3 out of 7. And our encounter card is Desiccation. Oh, Desiccation. This one goes away. This Desiccation stays. Let's see here. Oh, I forgot. I defeated an enemy, so I'm going to take the horror off of that. Oh, shoot. And I forgot. Has it been 1 or 2 turns? You know what? We'll say it's been 2 turns. I got to remember this thing. Maybe if I put it like right here, I'll remember. All right, my turn. Sure, we're going to spend 1. Taking a damage to play a matchbox. Second action, I'm going to move over here. I'm going to fast action, spend 1 to reduce the shroud by 1. And then third action, I'm going to investigate with Augur. So I'm a 5 versus a 2. Don't have anything to commit. 0. I succeed. So I get this clue. It is an action to take a look at that card, so I'm not going to do it. That is my turn. Enemy phase. This guy stays. That guy stays. That guy stays. Upkeep. Draw a card into Zeal. Gain a resource to be back at 6. All right, Mythos phase. We are at 4 of 7. I don't have a lot of time left here. I think I can probably take a look at this one, and then I gotta resign. Encounter card is... Oh, desiccation went away. Fungal Rot. Attach it to an item asset you control without it. Treat it as if it were blank. I'll put it on fine clothes. I'm not doing any parlay and stuff. It's just there for more soak. Okay, so my turn. First action. Looking underneath here. It is a colorless larva. Aloof. Forced after he attacks. Defeat it. Okay, so it's just aloof and stays there. Okay, so that is 1. I guess 2 and 3. We'll go up to this cavern, which is the Mineral Tunnel. 0 shroud, 1 clue. And while you are investigating, it gets +1 shroud for each card in your hand. Max to +6. All right, so currently I have 4 cards in hand, so that is it is a shroud 4. All right, my turn is done. Enemies, they all stay. Upkeep, draw a card, which is a Glimmer of Hope, which puts one of these guys on. Then I gain a money to be at 7. All right, Mythos phase, 5 out of 7. And our encounter card is Rotting Remains. Test Will 3. For each point I fail by, take a horror. All right, so I'm currently a 3. We'll commit 2 cards to be a 5. That is a 0, so I pass. Yeah, I'm going to try under this location just to see. I mean, in theory, these two should be the last two should be the ones that I need, but we'll see. Because I've got this turn and next turn. Let me think here. So next turn, so this turn, if I investigate, action 1. Action 2, I look at the card. If it's the right location, which it should be, action 3, I move to it. Next turn, if it's the top card, thing is, I don't know if they have the same thing where I automatically look at the top. So, we'll try it. We'll try it. Because I still have next turn. I can always just leave. All right. So first action, or fast action, I'm going to spend 1 to reduce the shroud here. Second action, I'm going to investigate using Augur. I'm going to commit Zeal. So it is currently a shroud 1 because I have 2 cards in my hand and I used a matchbox. So I am a 6 versus a 1. -3. I succeed. Get the clue. Second action. I draw the top card beneath my location, which is The larval tunnels, revelation. Put larval tunnels into play adjacent to the location. Search for a colorless larva and spawn it at this location. And then you have to successfully evade an enemy there to draw the top card, which is going to be an aloof enemy, which means I have to action, engage, action, evade. Yeah, I'm not going to have enough to get out of here, so. Go get a colorless larva. Okay. And now we got to read that entry. Bilious stench wafts from the tunnel, crawling with pillowy white insects. Monstrous larvae stare blindly out of the dark with milky white eyes. Insect colony keeps its young in this tunnel to mature. Judging by the gory and desiccated remains on the floor, the older brood soldiers fed them with a steady supply of local wildlife and anyone foolish enough to venture into their cave. Gather one of the crystal remains along with the top 2 cards of the encounter deck, shuffle them together, and place them face down underneath. Right, 1, 2. There. All right. Yeah, I need at least 1, maybe 2 more turns to get that one. Because, well, so if I move up there, the next turn will be 6. Then I'll only have 1 turn, yeah. Because I need to move there, evade, and hope the thing is the top card of the deck, which I got clues I can look at. But from there, I need to go move 1, move 2, resign. So I need a full turn to get from that location to the way and the way out. So unless I could get it this turn, which I can't, yeah. There is nothing, I think, for me to do here but to get out. Yep, so third action, we'll move over here. All right, enemy phase, everybody stays where they're at. Upkeep, draw a card, meat cleaver, gain a resource. Right, we are at 6 out of 7. We draw an encounter card, which is Miasmic Shadow. Also here. And then my turn, I resign. So each undefeated investigator resigned, and there are 1 or more crystal remains in the victory display. So I did manage to get the child. So I do get to advance. The scent of decay and the strange creature's pheromones mix to create a uniquely awful musk. Emerging from the caverns, you lay down the last member of what you assume must be the Pearl family. The acidic residue from their strange crystalline growth burns your skin. The bodies are painful to look at, their faces frozen in silent agony. Some invisible, heavy presence fills the air above the corpses, although there is no motion, no breeze or dust, only a movement of something in the air. You feel a deep, bone-aching weariness. Check the number of crystal remains in the victory display. If there are 3, go to R1. Otherwise, go to R2. Well, it's going to be an R2 for me. You lay the remains you could recover in the bed of Theo's sky blue truck. The buildup of minerals make them simultaneously heavy and incredibly brittle. You don't know what warped the bodies of the Pearl family, but it surely wasn't quick. They must have been horribly deformed when they died. You document the remains and a few samples of the crystal growths, then bury the remains in a shallow grave at the base of Pearl Ridge. In the log report, the remains were partially recovered. Once you left Pearl Ridge behind, you study the diary. It chronicles the rise and fall of Susan Pearl's investments in agriculture and mining on the island in the decade leading up to 1906. Let's see. Business entries interspersed with prayers, illustration of birds, and details on the strange warrens underneath Park Ridge. Other entries mention spreading sickness in the orchard workers and the Pearl family, along with repeated hardships in their mining efforts. The last entry said, I am still not certain of if what I experienced was a dream or vision. At midnight, I woke to the uncanny feeling of being watched, and when I opened my eyes, I saw a pale sphere of watery light in the corner of my room, dancing like something in a fairy story. As soon as I laid eyes on it, the thing flew out the window, and I followed it out into the orchard. What I saw is something I can only describe as a miracle. 100 more fairy lights danced in the orchard. As I watched the lights, they grew brighter, and I felt almost as though I was flying. A heady bliss took over my mind, and I felt different somehow, as if there were another me, 5 other me's, beating within my chest. And as I looked out at the trees, I saw myself in them, too, in all of this, strong and thick with knotted skin and branches for arms. I saw myself, my place in all of creation, and all of my fears, for Ezra, for the mine, for our health, melted away. I knew only joy, such joy. I am the eyes, all eyes that see. I am the brilliance. In the log record that Madame Pearl's diary was recovered. Miskatonic survey. Northern hills were devastated by an unknown event. Persistent contamination has led to mineralization and crystallization of organic life. Local caverns overrun by a massive insect colony. Insects exhibited vespid and termitid behaviors and physiology. Further study needed. So we earn victory X, where X in the victory display, which is a whopping 1. So I have a total of 3 XP that I can spend. All right, so that is it for day 1. Next will be the prelude and activities of night 2. So was going okay for a bit. Made a little bit of a screw up early, but I don't think it affected things too much. Just unfortunately couldn't keep the momentum. Augur was brilliant in getting the clues, but I just didn't have enough movement and ways of getting to these locations to get the other remains. So it was pretty tricky as a single player. I think 2 or 3 players probably would have gone a lot better. I mean, yes, there would have been more clues at the locations, but you could have split up and gone after them individually. So, alas, that is one of the difficulties of going solo. It is more difficult. As I've heard many people describe, as much as I love Arkham Horror, and I love playing it solo, I think it's accurately described as a multiplayer game with a solo game rules. So, but if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. I'll be back before too long for night 2 of my run through Hemlock Vale. Again, thank you for watching. If you want to see more of it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You like what you saw, hit the like button. I'm about halfway through this campaign, so, you know, if you want to see more Arkham Horror, you want to see more Marvel or something else, just leave a comment below. Otherwise, thank you very much and have a great day.